Coming up next on the CHGO Cubs podcast presented by Toyota and Bet365. What the fog was that? Taillon gives up 3 home runs, and the Cubs offense got lost in the fog. CHGO Cubs next. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? This is the CHGO Cubs podcast, driven by Toyota. Let's go places and Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Use the code CHGO365 at sign-up. Cubs lose 3-1 in the fog game at Wrigley Field and fail to sweep the Miami Marlins. Luke Stuckmeyer, Cody Delmendo, our guy Kevin Wells in the house tonight, and Sarah running the ones and twos. We'll talk about Taillon. We will talk about whatever's going on with Kyle Tucker. We'll talk about some missed opportunities tonight. But in general, I am curious what one Cody Delmendo thinks of that game, because I will file in the flush it.
Throw it into Lake
calendar.
You flush like this?
Well, I got a real powerful flusher.
That's you just
in the suburbs. We use more water. We flush it.
This is doing the slots at the Potawatomi Casino.
Oh, by the way, I won $50 there. So
this is something on the
you're
slots.
Right. You know what you're doing.
Flush it.
Flushing it is just like, psh, like
No, you don't do it that way either. you got one of the old
flush.
Cody's got one of the old chains where the tank sits up above, like above your head.
I don't know. Anyway,
why
am I laughing? I'm so mad right now. I should not be laughing.
I'm sure Sloan's got something like that.
I should not be laughing. I'm actually very annoyed. I told Luke tonight I'd give everyone the first true, real rant of the night. So buckle up or fasten those seatbelts, as Pat Hughes says.
Let me tee you up, Cody, because without a miracle last night in the 9th inning and a Justin Turner hit and a bunch of other crazy things that happened, they could have lost 2 out of 3 in that series.
Yeah, no, and that's why I'm annoyed, to be honest with you. Now, before I say what I'm about to say, let me preface, the Cubs are still in first place, and I know the Cardinals split with the Phillies today, so they're a half game back in the division, whatever. You want to believe that they're for real. I'm not going to tell you how to fan if you really think they're for real or not. I still need to see more. So, big picture, I'm still the same. But in the moment, with the game just ending 5 minutes ago.
Oh, wait. Hold on 1 second. This is our Taking the Temp segment, which I wanted to remind you, because I can see you heating up a little bit. I can see you getting a little hot with the hot weather coming in. Visit fourseasonsheatingcooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's fourseasonsheatingcooling.com. Trust your local experts at Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. The hot weather's coming. Now the hot takes from Cody Delmendo. Sorry, I forgot that.
That's a shout out to our sales team. Okay. Anyway, I'm annoyed because what you just said, Luke, about how if it wasn't for Justin Turner's double last night, could have potentially lost the series. And that's how we felt in the 7th inning of last night, because we felt like they're going to lose that game and have to go into this game with a chance to either win the series or lose the series. Now, you won this series, and that's all I asked for this week was just to win the series. But the what we're seeing, and it's specifically from the offense, like I don't think the defense was bad tonight. I don't think the pitching was bad, even though Taillon gave up 3 home runs. They were solo shots. It was technically a quality start, okay? Those are the facts. But this offense, it is triggering my PTSD in this series specifically. It's triggering my PTSD from last year. Listen, I know Kyle Tucker is kind of struggling right now. This isn't one game where you're like, he had a horrible game. He walked and hit a double. He hit a rocket in that 8th inning that killed what we hoped was maybe an 8th inning rally, but I've seen a few comments and people are like, we need to sit him on Friday. I'm like, no, we don't. I'm going to be there. I don't want Kyle Tucker to sit on Friday. But at the same time, it's not like he's lighting the world up on fire. We've talked about it a little bit over the last week. He has cooled off here in May. And I said this at the beginning of the season, man, this offense goes as Kyle Tucker and Seiya Suzuki go. Yeah, you need Ian Happ to be that good leadoff hitter. He sets the tone, but when it comes to scoring runs, this team goes through Kyle Tucker and Seiya Suzuki. If Kyle Tucker wants to make $450 to $550 million over a course of 10 years, whatever it is, I sit here right now, I'll tell you, I still would pay him because I think he's that good, right? But if he wants that kind of contract, this cannot loom for a month.
Can't linger very long.
This quote-unquote slump, which again, I referenced the other day, despite the fact that he is not hitting home runs every day or hitting rockets off the ivy or whatever. He, since like April 20th or whatever, he still had a 120 WRC plus from that stretch up until that day. I believe that was on Monday. So it's been a few days. Okay. So he's still above league average hitter during this quote unquote slump that he is in. But the offense, this team still goes as Kyle Tucker and Seiya Suzuki go. And as great as Pete Crow Armstrong has been, dude, why are we bunting with 2 outs? You are one of the most valuable players in baseball right now, brother. Why are we bunting with 2 outs? And you luckily made it because the ball landed in the most perfect spot. But okay, bases loaded, 2 outs. When you are hitting the way you've been hitting, man, why? Why are we bunting with 2 outs? You want to be mad at Nico for not getting the big hit? Fine. You can be mad at that too. But I'm more mad that PCA bunted with a runner in scoring position at 2 outs.
At a ball that was at his eye level.
Yeah.
It was almost over his head when he made contact with it.
I think that's what I have the most issue with right now. Like, Pete has been great, obviously, leads the team in homers and has been tearing the cover off the ball and making a lot of great plays in the field. But there are certain things that he needs to clean up situationally, and that was one of them. I mean, you got to pull that bat back, man. You got to pull it back.
I don't know why he's squaring up to begin with. That's my whole point.
Well, he could have seen the third baseman back a little bit and said, hey, Nico's coming up. Nico's been really good with guys in scoring position this year. Maybe I'll give it to him. But even that doesn't make a lot of sense to me because you've been tearing the cover off the ball.
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
exactly.
But I see his.
You're like number 2 in WAR in baseball.
Yeah, I see his thinking. You know, if he sees the third baseman playing back and, you know, he struck out twice, wants to try to get a little bit of mojo, get on base, let Nico have a shot. I can see that, but I wouldn't have done it personally.
And I would have understood it if Weathers was still in the game for the Marlins, who struck PCA out his first 2 play appearances. But this was a new pitcher on the mound.
Mm-hmm.
And the Cubs, like, it was probably the best opportunity to be able to score tonight was that inning.
Felt like that was your ball game.
And I don't know if he gets a hit or not, but I'd rather see him try and come through there than him bunt. And then us have to go through another at-bat of seeing if Nico's going to get it done. Nico gets it done more often than not, no doubt. But that's one of those play appearances where I want to see a guy like Pico Armstrong, who I've sat here and praised and just been nothing but positive about for the last month and a half. I want to see that guy come up there and prove that, yeah, this isn't just some month fluke, man. Like, come on. Like, you're supposed to be a leader of this team. You're emerging as a leader of this team. This does not go into how I feel about him as a player or anything like that. Just tonight, I did not like seeing him go up there to bunt with 2 outs. Less than 2 outs, maybe I can get to it because you can't. The team's been struggling to score runs. 2 outs, you're one of the best hitters on the team. You hit a home run yesterday. Go up there and swing and try and carry this team to a win. That's what I want to see. So that's my biggest annoyance about the entire game.
And you have every right to feel that way because they didn't have a lot of hits tonight. The opportunities were far and few between. You had an opportunity there with one out.
I found the flushing toilet sound effect. I apologize.
Do you
You're so
roll like
brilliant.
this?
That was brilliant.
It took me a while to find it.
I was
found it.
wondering what you were
It was
doing.
like, took like 5 minutes. I found it here. Do you want to hear it? This is what.
Yeah, play it again because that's what we're doing with this game. We're flushing it.
Hold on. By the way,
Yep.
Four Seasons also has plumbing.
Yes, they do.
So it's not just a temp check.
Shout out Four Seasons.
It's also a toilet check today.
I needed the laugh.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the rude interruption.
It felt good to be a little irrationally mad about the team. I haven't been irrationally mad about the team very much this year, and it felt good to get that.
It was not Kevin's take that I was flushing. It was the game.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
It's just it's okay to be frustrated with this game because I'll come out and say it. Cubs shouldn't lose a game this week. They shouldn't have lost a game this week. You're playing two teams that you are infinitely better than. That's a really young Marlins team. They're not good yet, but they clearly have some pieces that they're building to. Weathers made his first start of the year tonight. I thought he was outstanding. 25-year-old lefty throws almost 100 miles an hour. He might have hit 100 on a couple of those fastballs. I thought he was great. I thought they got a lot of offensive production, timely hits today too. Obviously 3 home runs, 2 from the same guy, but you can't lose to the Marlins, man. If you're a legitimate contending team, losses happen, but not at home to the Marlins. Not when you got, especially after last night too. You can't have 2 close calls with the Miami Marlins. Not with this team this year.
And that's the overarching frustration with me with everything about this series is, Monday's game was fine. It was pretty easy, not low stress game, which is what you should do against a team like the Marlins. Should have had 3
of those, or
right?
at least 2.
You should have. But baseball is baseball, and baseball gonna baseball sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But to go with that too, how did this offense score all these runs against the teams like the Dodgers, the Diamondbacks, the Padres? Like all those teams, how'd this offense do that? And I know Ian Happ's not in the lineup, and I know that there's some other guys not in the lineup tonight, and whatever. I get it. Carson Kelly is not looking. He didn't look like Barry Bonds. He hasn't looked like Barry Bonds probably the last week.
Still taking his walks though.
Yes. No, I'm not even really complaining about it. I'm just saying he's not hitting a home run every freaking at bat like he was in April, right? But the how can this offense? Even if you don't, I'm not even saying scoring 11 runs. I'm saying scoring 3, 4, 5 runs. Mm-hmm. Like where is that? I'm asking for that, the bare minimum, when you're playing a team like the Marlins, man. And I'll let me finish.
Yeah.
I agree with you in the fact that you shouldn't lose to the Marlins, but I also am like, I don't care that you lost to the Marlins. It's how you lost to the Marlins. The offense cannot look this pathetic against the Marlins. If you had lost 4-3 and the bullpen blew it again, or maybe just some stupid fluky stuff happened, fine, it'd be annoying, and we'd sit here and probably have the same type of rant. But it would, if I didn't sit here and I felt like it wasn't fluky, it would not feel as bad as I feel right now. Right now, I feel like the Cubs just got beat by the Marlins. Like the Marlins played the best game they could possibly play, and the Cubs did nothing to try and shift the tide. That's how I feel. I don't feel like what we just watched was some sort of fluke.
So you think it's an overarching theme?
In this one particular game, I don't come away thinking that it was some fluky stuff, because the Rockies have 7 wins. They're going to win games, but they might break the White Sox's record from last year, right?
Right.
They will win games. The Marlins will win games. So, and these bad teams that win games, a lot of the time it's fluky, or maybe your starter goes out there and just has a bad game or something, whatever. Tonight, Weathers was great for the Marlins. They hit 3 homers.
I get what you're saying.
Their bullpen was good. Like, there was nothing that the Cubs did that changed the outcome.
They dominated the game. Last night, the Marlins could sit in their clubhouse and say, that was fluky. There was a ball we didn't quite handle, and then bad things unfolded after that, and we lost the game. Tonight, the Cubs will look at it and say, well, we got outpitched and we got out hit. Mm-hmm. And there's no way around it. Their pitcher was better than our pitcher, and they hit 3 home runs. We hit 1 home run. as somebody just said in the chat, and I would agree, of the 5 hits, even the Kyle Tucker one was a check swing. I mean, he didn't mean to hit it down the third base line.
Right.
And I see what you mean, Cody. Like, you're getting flashbacks from the last couple of seasons, because it did seem when the Cubs went into these offensive dips.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to preface this by saying they're still top 5 in almost every offensive category, despite having a couple off nights here. But I see what you mean, and when you watch games like this, it's hard not to look back at last season and say, oh my God, it's happening again. Everybody seems to be regressing at the same time.
Yeah.
That's what I can't understand.
Mm-hmm.
And I know one guy changes a lot. Having a guy like Happ take pitches and he works counts and he tires pitchers out. He's just another hurdle that an opposing pitcher has to get over, especially at the top of the lineup. But for me, I don't understand why it can't be everybody all at once. Why is it always – they've had a couple of these games now, back-to-back Wednesdays, where when I've sat here in this chair, where it seems like everybody in that lineup is either just looking ahead to the off day, looking ahead, overlooking the game, or just – I don't know, just having a bad baseball day.
Last Wednesday they lost. Didn't they lose 3-1 to the Giants last Wednesday?
Yeah, it was a complete snoozer.
All right, we got to take a break. We'll be back in a second to talk more Cubs baseball. I am curious what everybody thinks about the lineup the Cubs put out tonight. But first, hey, baseball fans, if you're thinking about upgrading your drive this season, Toyota's 2025 lineup is definitely worth a look. First up, there's the RAV4. It's versatile, reliable, and always ready for a little adventure. Then there's the Grand Highlander. Plenty of room, super comfortable, great for families and long road trips. Maybe you're looking for efficiency. The Corolla's got you covered. It's smart, it's stylish, and easy on gas. Need something a little bit tougher? The Tacoma brings serious durability. And finally, the Camry. Sleek, fun, and packed with performance. You could check out the full lineup at Toyota.com or stop by your local Chicagoland Toyota dealership. Right now is a great time to become a CHGO diehard. Join our band of sickos and upgrade your fandom today. Get access to our exclusive written content, a free t-shirt, plenty of discounts on future merch and events, plus access to our CHGO Discord lounge where we all hang out and talk Chicago sports, and sometimes it's a bit of a therapy session. Go to allchgo.com for the latest information on how you can join thousands of CHGO diehards already in our community. We can't wait to connect with you on an even greater level.
If you ever tried to buy a home, get a loan, or just deal with money stuff in general, you know it can be a lot. Absolutely. I know that. That's why we got to tell you about the Rate app. It's seriously a game changer. You can get pre-approved for a mortgage in minutes without the need to jump through a million hoops. And if you're thinking about a home equity loan or a personal loan, you can secure one in under 15 days. The Rate app also helps you find the best homeowners and auto insurance based on what you actually need. The whole thing is powered by AI, so it's smart and saves you time and, most importantly, money. Okay? And something that is an unexpected bonus, they've added over 800 free wellness videos, stuff like meditation, breathing exercises, stretching, basically tools to help you feel better mentally and physically. So if you're stressed out about a loan or a mortgage, seriously, just let the Rate app handle it. Once that's covered, you can go hit one of their free wellness videos to chill out. I might need to go chill out with one of these Rate videos after this game, all right? It's one app that helps with both your wallet and your well-being. Download the Rate app today to get started.
All right, Cubs lose 3-1 to the Marlins, failed to sweep. They had a chance to do it. Would have been their first, I guess you'd call it a series sweep since the A's. I guess you don't call a 2-game sweep over the Dodgers
I
an
call
actual
it a sweep.
I do too, but I
it's a
think
sweep.
Technically people say it's got to be at least 3 games to be a sweep.
Is this how you sweep, or is this how you flush?
Flush like this. Cody still pulls the chains on both sides. Both sides.
If you're listening on an audio version, you just have to have like the most weird eyebrow thinking right now.
Yeah,
like,
you're
just gonna have to go back and watch the show. I mean, you're missing the visual effect.
If you're doing the audio version. Let's see if I can find it now. Hold on.
Technical difficulties.
Wow.
Oh, wait.
This is great radio.
Is this good radio? Can you hear it?
Oh,
there it is.
there it is.
We are calling Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. And we are officially, that is a long flush. We better call Four Seasons and get that fixed.
That's not very efficient. That sounds wasteful.
Our toilet doesn't seems too water efficient. Cubs lose the game. Shout out to everybody that's joined us in the live YouTube chat here at the new CHGO Cubs YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, tell a friend, tell a family member, tell a loved one.
Since not to try and like change the vibe, maybe we can save it for later if you want. But we could flip to big picture and be a little bit more optimistic since they won the series.
Yeah, we will.
But we could do another
15
15 minutes of yelling.
There's still more to question.
Okay.
I asked before we went to break, what did you think of the lineup? And you were saying, well, what's going on with all? Why is the offense seem to be doing all this at one time? I think they can get through a stretch for all the people that are polarizing around Ian Happ. Remember I said, I think in the offseason I've said, I don't know if there's two more polarizing players on the Cubs than Ian Happ and Dansby Swanson. Fans either love him or hate him for some reason. I don't really understand it, but it's a thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
And for all the people that complain about Ian Happ not being whatever you want him to be, I think you see there is a difference with him at the top of the lineup. Now, why was Dansby batting leadoff? Well, because Dansby's been hot. He's a right-handed hitter. They had a lefty on the mound. They didn't want PCA there. Okay. Somebody in the chat said, well, why not Nico? Well, Nico had a terrible night tonight, too. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what the right answer is. The right answer would be Ian Happ is healthy. That's who needs to be the leadoff man for this Cubs team.
When healthy, yeah.
When healthy.
I won't be surprised. I don't know who's starting for the White Sox on Friday, but I won't be surprised if PCA is back in the leadoff spot. If it's a right-handed pitcher.
Do you think they got a little too cute with the lineup, trying to move things around just to match up the righty-lefty? Should they just have left PCA up there?
No, because he struck out twice against Weathers.
Yeah. It's not the reason they lost the game.
It was the right move, and it didn't age well, I guess you can say.
It was a funky-looking lineup, but I don't think that was the reason the offense didn't work tonight.
It didn't age well, I guess you could say, because he only had a base hit up the middle, and they lost 3-1, like we said. But before the game, when people were reacting to the whole lineup thing, I tweeted after I was actually in the lab. I learned this information because I bet on Dansby Swanson tonight.
Yeah, me too.
But this season against left-handed pitching, Dansby Swanson is only hitting 259, but he had a 166 WRC plus, a 370 isolated power, and 57.1% of his hits were extra base hits against left-handed pitching. So when he has hit the ball against left-handed pitching, it's been for extra bases. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know what his walk rate and all this stuff against left-handed pitching was, but I knew going into this one game, putting him up there, considering going up against a lefty, and considering I think PCA is better against righties than lefties, why not put the hot hand up there for one game? I doubt that if we see Dansby Swanson in the leadoff role against a righty on Friday, I will be annoyed then. I do think that this is mostly a one-game thing.
The Cubs starters are out, by the way. It is going to be Horton on Friday, Ray on Saturday against the White Boyd on Saturday, Ray on Sunday against the White Sox.
I wanted to see Horton.
Hey, by the way, I think it was, go back up, somebody, I think it was Sean Caselli. This is going to sound crazy, but Turner should lead off against lefties. Even if he doesn't get a ton of hits, he takes a lot of pitches and he can draw walks.
Bold of you to say, Sean
Now, I mean,
Caselli.
that's if you would have told me that 2 days ago, I would have chuckled.
Yeah.
But I don't disagree that he does usually see a lot of pitches and give you a professional bet, even if before yesterday it wasn't leading to the results anybody wanted. I don't know.
Batting leadoff, Sean, I love you. I couldn't disagree with you more with that take, just because
Sean.
Leading off is more than just a quality at bat, right? I mean, you have a lot more responsibility on you. You want to get on base first and foremost, but with the way this Cubs lineup is constructed, they're trying to get that guy on base and immediately take a bag. and Justin Turner ain't taking.
Yeah,
it
it's
back.
not. It doesn't have speed. I mean,
I tell you,
he's
it's
not scoring.
fast
He's not
either.
scoring on a double from first base. I know that's old school thinking, but that is part of the way that this lineup is constructed too.
Now,
the roster is constructed.
I know going into the season, a lot of people were clamoring for the PCA leadoff because of the speed.
Yeah.
Specifically, I would, if Happ were out for an extended period of time, the guy I would put up there at leadoff, if he can get out of this slump quickly, I'd actually put Tucker at the top of the lineup.
He walked in the first
I'd
inning
put
tonight.
him there like when occasionally KB would go to the top of the lineup. I want my best hitter getting the most at bats.
That I don't
and
hate.
And if Tucker's
more
out
so,
of the slump, he's my best guy, and that's why I put him there.
It's more like when Joe Madden would put Anthony Rizzo in the leadoff role. KB did it like once.
He did it a couple times.
But he didn't have as much success as Anthony Rizzo.
No. Yeah, agreed.
So I just explained why they put Swanson up there. He had a good matchup. He hit a fly ball to center. He hit it pretty hard. But other than that, he didn't do anything against Weathers at least. So didn't work out this time. Sometimes it just works out that way. But I felt matchup-wise it made sense. Now, I will say this related to the lineup. I was surprised that we didn't see an at-bat from Michael Busch or Moises Ballesteros later in the game.
Right. I understand why we even said it last night post-game. We knew that Mo Baller wasn't going to start in this game because of the lefty, and it just looked like a bad matchup for him. But I would have liked to have seen him getting at bat.
Yeah, I was surprised that, considering how everyone was hitting in this game, it's like, can we get someone else? You know?
Plus, can you imagine the first major league hit with the setting of the fog, the cinematic fog rolling in?
It's just the reason I think we didn't see Ballesteros is because who are you pinch hitting him for?
Probably would have been for Kelly because he was a DH.
But Carson Kelly, he's not been, the power hasn't been there, but he's still been getting on base. The matchup
also,
wouldn't have made sense for Ballesteros there.
Maybe Busch for Turner. I mean,
yeah, I could have seen if Turner came up there in the bottom of the ninth. I bet we would have seen Michael Busch. Yeah. I think that would have been.
Kelly didn't Kelly walk in his last? I don't.
Yeah,
you're not wrong, but also
Ballesteros is going to be here for a cup of coffee. I don't think Counsell wants to play him a lot. I think he's been pretty obvious that he's going to go right back down as soon as Happ gets activated. That's at least
right.
If I'm reading.
I personally don't want to see Amaya and Kelly in the lineup every day. So I
don't disagree.
I hope to see Ballesteros in the lineup on Friday. I hope to see him in the lineup on Saturday, and I hope to see him in the lineup on Sunday. If there's a right-handed pitcher pitching, I want to see Ballesteros in the lineup because if you're going to call him up to just sit him on the bench, you're really going to trigger my PTSD, Kevin.
Yeah, well, if there's righties, he's going to play.
Yeah, I get why he didn't start tonight, and we explained that. I'm just saying that if you're going to call him up and not play him, I will be vocal about that on this podcast.
Well, he'll play. I think that the reason
why he didn't get a pinch hit tonight.
Well, I think we're frustrated too because we're talking about intricacies of the lineup, and I think that just looking at it tonight, anytime that you have to start, and that these are two guys that you brought in for depth, anytime you have to start two catchers, Justin Turner and John Birdie in the same lineup, that's not a good lineup, man. That's why you lost. It wasn't because Dansby batted leadoff. It's because you have two guys at the bottom of the order that one guy who's had an unbelievable career but is past the tail end of it now. Now you're just kind of hoping to catch lightning in a bottle in big moments like yesterday. And the other guy is a defensive replacement who has been pigeonholed into playing third base because your top prospect's not ready yet. And playing all those guys in the same lineup on the same night, it's not a recipe for success.
I don't think you minded this either. I liked Turner being in the lineup today after what happened yesterday because
why not
trying to build off. He got his first extra base hit of the season. The one big
he had a hit tonight,
right, and he got a hit tonight in his first at bat.
One of their 5.
Whatever. I tend to agree with you. I don't know what else can they do at third base other than to just call Matt Shaw back up. I don't want to deter his development. They clearly want him to be doing something in Iowa that has nothing to do completely with results because I know he's been hitting over the last week or two now.
He's only batting Shaw's only batted. I watched part of the Iowa game today. He was only batting like 257 at Iowa. It's not like he's There have been games. I'm just saying, I looked at the screen and thought to myself, he's only batting .257. I thought people were saying he was doing great. I hadn't been keeping a big eye on it.
I know he had a home run yesterday.
It's one of those things with Twitter algorithms, right? Like we see all the time. Tommy Birch does a great job of covering that team down there, but some of his tweets with when his stat line is great get infinite coverage. It gets pushed to the top, and everybody's like, "Oh, he's great." He probably hasn't. He's had a lot of extra base hits down there. I think what Jed Hoyer and these guys are looking for is, hey man, stop putting the ball on the ground so much, because that was his problem when he got here. But needs to hit the ball in the air a little bit more.
To close on the bottom of the lineup, the Cubs have had one of the best bottom of the lineups in terms of production all season. They've talked about this on the marquee broadcast, but yeah, like Birdie and Turner, it's normally not them in those spots. So
correct.
I think that for this lineup in particular, was it great? No, but there's also some layers to why it was set up the way it was. Who else did you have that would have been better to put in the lineup tonight outside of Busch and Ballesteros going up against a lefty? I mean, I know a lot of fans want to see Busch face a lefty. I personally disagree, but I guess you could have put him in there at first base and put Turner at DH because I did like them putting Turner in tonight, but I in general don't really complain about lineups much. But
it leaves us with two things to talk about here still coming up in the podcast. One is they have to sweep the White Sox, and number two, what the heck is going on with all the home runs off of Taillon? But first, Kevin, a word from our sponsors.
Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. It's your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping. It's a place where all kinds of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, purchase a wide array, high-quality products. Ever been in the one in the Wrigley location? It's great. A lot of stuff in there. One-stop shop for all your cannabis needs. Sunnyside has expertly curated menus with over 100 strains to choose from, plus easy online ordering and in-store pickup. If you're starting out, Sunnyside has expert guidance and brands that we know you'll love, like Good News and Midney's. Visit sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Enter the promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Bright buys every day, only for 21 and up or Illinois medical card holders.
I bet Kyle Tucker to walk tonight on Bet365. He walked in the first inning. I bet Seiya Suzuki to record an RBI. He had a homer whenever the Cubs scored their one run.
Credit to you for a big night.
Did it all on Bet365, all right? Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. New customers now get $150 in bonus bets. When you bet $5, win or lose, sign up, use the code CHGO365. Deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. With the Bet365 early payout offer, you're a winner if your team goes 5 runs ahead with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. All you got to do, again, is download that app and use code CHGO365. And when you do, new customers, again, get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up, use code CHGO365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5. Get $150 in bonus bets. You can do it on spreads, totals, player props like I love to do. Futures, like I did with Seiya Suzuki, over 19.5 homers for the season, which feels like an absolute lock, knock on wood for injury. Futures and more, all right? Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be assessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER.
So the Sox are next, and I said before the break we've got a sweep. And by the way, that brings us to the point that the Friday 120 Club is coming up. You're going to be there in the bleachers.
Yep.
And we also have a deal going on right now called the Ball Knower Bonus. We have this merch sale going on at our merch store, our spring cleaning sale, where it's up to like 75% off some things. Everything's 30% off in the store. All you got to do is spend $25 or more. Once you do that, you will get to then pick Cubs or Sox as a winner. You'll be prompted, Cubs or Sox, who's going to win the series this weekend? The Ball Knower Bonus. If you answer that question correctly and you've spent $25 or more, if you get the right answer, you will be given a gift card in the same amount of what you just spent. So if you spent $26 and you pick Cubs and the Cubs win the series, even if it's just 2 out of 3, you get a $26 gift card. If you spend $300 in the merch store, because it's a big sale and there's all kinds of crazy stuff in there, then you would get a $300 gift card if you pick the correct answer. So good time to check that out. Take advantage of the sale that's going on, and take advantage of your knowledge of the Cubs and White Sox. I just think what I was saying before the break is just an absolute. You can still, if you would have told me going into it, I would have said, yes, you got to win all 6 games against the Marlins and White Sox. But baseball is baseball, and I can live with 5 out of 6. You had said 4 out of 6, right? Go 4-2. I'm not cool with that because the White Sox are still historically bad. They're still on pace for like 100-plus losses again this season. So you have to sweep the White Sox. Enough of this nonsense that we've had the last couple of years where we've done takeovers at Wrigley Field and we're waiting for Nick Madrigal to bail us out with a home run, and then Christopher Morel to bail us out with a home run, and then Christopher Morel to bail us out with another home run. We shouldn't need Mike Tauchman. I know he's on the other side of town now, but we shouldn't have needed Mike Tauchman to walk it off. Like, you shouldn't be in desperate situations against the White Sox. It should be 9-0 by the 3rd inning, and you ought to be able to march out whoever you want on the mound.
I'll tell you what, though.
They've won 4 or 5.
If this offense rolls out like they did the last 2 nights on Friday against Shane Smith, who's been one of the best pitchers in baseball this year, they will lose on Friday. They cannot go out with the same lineup, same approach. Shane Smith, I know a lot of our fans are not watching White Sox baseball. I've watched enough of it being here on Sundays with Sean and having an antenna in my house, finally figuring out how to use it.
The aluminum foil worked, didn't it? That was the aluminum
finally
foil.
Figured out.
That's right.
Got it to go.
What I used to do in my dorm, aluminum
Shout
foil.
out to
I'm
our
just
friends
gonna
at
say
CHGO.
Shane Smith, man. He's awesome.
Yeah.
He's really, really good. And if the Cubs, if they don't change the line, don't go with this lineup on Friday. I don't think they will. Take some pitches, take some walks, get back to what because you're not going to put the ball over the fence a ton on this guy, and he strikes out a lot of guys. So he throws strikes, be ready to attack early. Period. Top of your lineup's got to pick up the slack while Happ's out. It's not going to be a pushover. I think Saturday and Sunday you're looking at a pretty good advantage. Hopefully Cade Horton matches. It's going to be a battle of 2 really young, promising pitchers. It'll be a fun game, but I think Saturday and Sunday are more those.
Has he ever pitched in front of a crowd?
Yeah. No.
We will find out. We will find out what these guys are sort of made up of a little bit on Friday, because Horton's going to get that. He's going to get Cubs socks for the first time at Wrigley Field, and on the other side, he's used to playing in front of like 5,000 people. So you're going to get a real crowd with the real electricity. It's going to be hot out. There'll probably be a few fights in the bleachers. We hope to not be involved in any of those. Everybody stay calm.
If anyone in this office is going to get in a fight on Friday, it'll be Sarah.
Oh, boy.
Shane,
because
I'd
she's
agree with
sassy.
that.
No.
I'd agree with that.
She's
You can't be.
sassy.
Not a
This is-
physical fight,
this
but a
is-
verbal fight.
No,
Yeah.
you can't even start the verbal fights. In the heat, people become aggressive.
I'm technically off the clock on Friday, is what our great GM Jake told me.
Well,
so
your aggressive behavior needs to be off the clock as well.
Listen,
just running through some of these Shane Smith stats really quick. He's given up 1 home run in his last 6 starts combined. He walked only 12 guys in the month of April, struck out 26. He's given up 1 home run all year.
okay.
1 home run all year.
Listen, man.
He's been really good.
Well, let me just say, if it's 85 and the wind is blowing out, he will give up more than 1 home run.
Probably right.
Let's hope so.
You're probably right.
Mark my words.
Playing against Boston twice, Minnesota, Milwaukee, teams that do put the ball over the fence quite a bit. Yeah, Cubs got to pick it up, man. Better sweep the White Sox this weekend.
Yes. I'm sorry, Cody.
I'll stick with what I said. I said 4-2 week. I just want to win series. It'd be nice to sweep, absolutely. But I might think differently if this White Sox team wasn't playing well right now. For their standards, they're playing well. They have a winning record in the month of May.
Yep.
They just won the series against the Reds. Remember, like a week ago, everyone was freaking out about the Reds. creeping up on the Cubs.
Teams like this can be dangerous. They're playing with house money.
Yeah.
They got a bunch of young guys coming up and just firing away.
They got swept on both sides of town last year. You know that they're coming to Wrigley on Friday with a chip on their shoulder. Whether that means anything or not.
It's their World Series.
Yes, I know. I know, Luke.
It's their World Series.
I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that as fans, I guess we should absolutely we should expect a sweep because we are better than them. But at the same time, like, it's not one that you can just go in with this rollover attitude of like, yeah, we'll figure it out. You know what I mean? So
that's the point I was trying to make.
And it does. To be honest with you, Luke, it doesn't matter to me who they throw on the mound or who pitches well for the Cubs or not. If this offense doesn't hit, they're not going to beat anyone. If they're going to hit like they did today, it's one game. But it's not just today. They did this yesterday too. They had a miraculous ninth inning. Yeah. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
I know.
But we got those two games. We have a couple games against the Mets last weekend. They lost the series against the Giants. I should not be this upset about losing or winning a series against the Marlins. So I know that in this moment right now, I sound like an idiot, just like the guy in the chat who said that we should have kept Bellinger. Okay? But all I'm saying is that you got to at least win the series. You got to at least win the series. And can we win on a Sunday, man?
Yeah.
Can we win on a Sunday?
We win a series finale. The Cubs have really struggled in series finales this year. It's pretty crazy, actually. They kill it in the first game of series, and the last game of the series are significantly under 500. So
I know baseball is
weird.
Baseball, and I know the Cubs Sox series is always fun. That team is horrid. I don't care what the record is in their last 5 games. They lost 121 games last year. They're going to lose 115 or 116 or maybe 120 this year. They're historic history. That's right. Thanks, Hawk. They're historically bad. Sweep them. I don't care how many players you have hurt. I don't care how tired Kyle Tucker might be. He gets a day off tomorrow. Everybody does. Cade Horton ought to go out and shove because he's used to shoving against AAA teams, and he's playing one on Friday. He ought to go out there and dominate. And Kyle Tucker ought to look at, I don't care who's pitching, look at it and step up to the plate and be like, meatballs coming over the plate.
You're not wrong.
The best recipe for a struggling hitter ought to be the White Sox.
Keep cooking.
So heat it up.
You're not wrong. I
don't want to see it come down the 9th inning in a walk-off again.
I feel like we're going to see that at least in one game. I really do.
Luis Robert's going to hit a home run. He always does. He always homers at Wrigley.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
It's different when
I can't name 5 guys on their team.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. The White Sox strength this season, if the Cubs hit well, if they slug it all in this series, they'll win all 3 games. That's the difference because the White Sox strength is their starting rotation. They don't run the bases well at all. Luis Robert is leading the league in steals. He's the only – you keep him off the bases, you don't have to worry about anybody else on the bases. They don't play great defense. There's nobody out there that's going to wow you, make incredible plays. I mean, this is a very sweepable series if you can get around a couple of their good players. You're going to see one of them on Friday on the mound, and if you get to him early, chase him, and you just keep Luis Robert kind of at bay because he's starting to pick it up a little bit. He had a really slow start to the year. Now he's starting to get a little bit back on track right before he gets traded probably to the Reds. So
other than the Rockies series, it's the most sweepable series of the season.
Yeah.
The White Sox at Wrigley. Yeah. Other than the Rockies, it doesn't get easier than this.
And the weather's going to be favorable to hit home runs tomorrow and Saturday. It's going to be really warm out. Cubs in the warmer months or in the warmer days in May played pretty well. We're at a couple of those games. So maybe it's the weather. Maybe it's the wind.
God, everything. All of my PTSD is being triggered in this post-game show.
Sorry.
All of it. Whether it's talking about needing to put fans on the freaking press box so Jed can't blame the weather for the warning track fly ball team that we were last year, or talking about all the other things we've talked about.
There's the sign. Sarah put it up. Extend Kyle Tucker. That needs to be, as I've said, to spark something in Tucker and in this team.
Well,
in right field.
You can confidently
on Friday.
You can confidently say that he's due. He's due for a big series. So.
I'm due for a new vehicle. Segue.
What are you going to get?
I have no idea. New vehicles are in store at Ray Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, and this is your chance to score a great deal during the employee pricing plus savings event. I can tell you it's going to be one of those vehicles. Head to Ray CDJR on Route 12 today to choose from their huge inventory of new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram vehicles. And right now, lease the new 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xE for only $245 a month for 24 months. Plus, shop over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. With a friendly team of brand experts, the team at Ray CDJR is here to help you during each step of your car shopping journey. And with Ray's Price Promise, you can shop confidently with no add-ons and no hidden fees ever. The price you see is the price you pay. It's that simple. Go check out our partner today to shop one of the Chicago area's largest inventories. Find the right new vehicle for you, then drive home happy. The team at Ray CDJR is the only one we recommend. Don't miss out on the Employee Pricing Plus sales event for huge savings on the Jeep Grand Cherokee. For more information, visit Ray CDJR today on Route 12 in Fox Lake or online, raycdjr.com. They've been serving the community since 1963.
It's a long time.
Guys, summer is here officially tomorrow. Not meteorologically, but I'm telling you, tomorrow. 89 for a high is what they're talking about. That's why we got the dense marine layer fog in here, because the warm weather is starting to come in and it's going over Cold Lake, Michigan, and it's fog all over the place. So be careful if you're out there driving tonight. But is your home's air conditioning up for the challenge tomorrow? Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric has been serving the Chicago area for more than 50 years. Now's the time to get your air conditioning checked out, and Four Seasons experts are ready to help you with AC installation, maintenance, and repair. 2024, last year, that was Chicago's hottest year on record. The heat index even hit 114 last summer at O'Hare. I hate sweating. When it's hot and humid, you want to know your home is going to be cool and comfortable. Just because we got to sweat out some of these Cubs games doesn't mean we have to sweat everything out in our house every second of the day. Four Seasons expert technicians ensure you always have reliable service. Let me tell you, you can save up to $4,000 on a new comfort system with Four Seasons. New AC units from $39 a month and AC furnace combos from $57 a month. Plumbing, electrical, heating, cooling, emergency. All you maybe need that new hot water tank. Call 866-4Seasons. Your trusted local experts, Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Four Seasons HeatingCooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's Four Seasons HeatingCooling.com.
To quickly answer Barb's question, and I'm sure other people have it as well, don't forget that Corey and Brendan have their Cubs-related show tomorrow at 8 p.m.
Beautiful.
Yep. I will be tuned in.
Beautiful. Ramon says, guys, a little positivity says, is that a word? I don't believe that's a word. Positivity.
Yeah, man.
Well, I did
How about
ask
Keller and
if we
Pomeranz?
could.
Hey, Keller's in my triangle of trust, and Pomeranz is in the triangle of trust.
He's been there.
Been awesome.
Yeah,
He's been there.
they're in the triangle of trust. The bullpen has actually been really good the last 2 days. I said last night that I thought the strikeout by Presley was kind of a turning point in the game. He got out of that mess and got a big strikeout for him. Then you got Flexen came up with 2 shutout innings. You've had Keller tonight. You had Pomeranz tonight. The bullpen has actually been good. Yeah. So that is a positive. And we worry about the bullpen all the time because that's what we do, and bullpens are bullpens.
That's what every fan in baseball. I feel like I would love to see a survey of baseball fans of every team in the league and how they view how they view their team's bullpen.
Yeah, everybody hates their bullpen.
I still do think the Cubs are short a bullpen arm.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
And a starter.
Absolutely.
And probably a
maybe 2. But yeah, it's been really good. I the Pomeranz thing, man, that's an experiment.
I don't even know if that's an experiment. I think that guy is healthy and has kind of figured some things out in how he wants to do things as a reliever. And the Cubs saw something.
Keller too.
Yeah. Well,
got
the Keller
Rollers
is
and rolls that
definitely
he's not used to being
Got to
in.
tip
Keller
your
is
cap to the
definitely
process there. The Cubs tend to find relievers when they need them. I don't know. The last couple of years, I know they haven't been in the postseason, but you can bellyache about the bullpen all you want. There's been some really big success stories from Jed Hoyer and finding bullpen guys that are maybe a little bit older and then get flipped for a trade piece. And I mean, I don't know. He's had success with doing that. Pomeranz looks like another feather in the cap.
Yeah.
Before we get to the positive talk, because we don't like to rush that, what is going on with Taillon? At one point, 7 home runs in 8 innings.
He's throwing a lot of strikes. He's not walking anybody. He's getting way too much of the strike zone when he's when he's ahead in the count. He's getting way too much of the zone. I said this about Ben Brown. It's very similar. Way too much of the zone when you're in 0-2 or when you're up 0-2. Tonight, the fastball command was just not there in the first couple innings. He found it there in the 4th and the 5th. He had a couple strikeouts there when he was going on the outside part of the plate to lefties and vice versa. He was kind of keeping guys long-winded swings. But Brett Beatty did something to him in that Mets series, and I guarantee you the Marlins looked at that tape and replicated exactly what happened to Taillon in New York, and they did it here. Opposite field home runs. Lefties hitting home runs. Taillon had been great against lefties. Brett Beatty found something in there, found something in his, and this is where Tommy Hotovy and they'll have to go back and see, hey, are you tipping a pitch, or is there something you're doing to lefties that lets them know what kind of pitch you're throwing? Because he got rocked tonight. Even those outs were loud. I mean, it wasn't just the 3 home runs. It was line shots to center field, warning track flyouts almost every other inning. I mean, it's concerning. Taillon had a great start. We knew he would kind of fall back to where he's been most of his career. He's a very
good innings
solid,
eater.
Solid innings eater pitcher, but he doesn't throw hard enough to get that much of the zone. When he does, this happens.
They need a lot of guys to step up with Steele out and now Shota out. He's obviously obviously one of them. You know, he kind of jumps to the top, and they've had other guys. We do have a Toyota Super Chat we forgot to get to, and this is from our guy Steven, $2. This team still lacks killer instinct. Pathetic. I guess referring to the fact that, there haven't been a ton of sweeps, and I've said with the guys they have out, I'm still happy if they're 500 when they finally get Shota back. But with this schedule, they should be 500.
They should be above 500.
They should be above 500 with some of the teams that they're going to be playing, and then hopefully he gets back at a normal time, and it's not too much longer. But
yeah, Taillon for me, I mean, he was better than he was against the Mets. He only gave up 4 hits tonight. Did he give up too much contact? I guess he is more of a pitch to contact pitcher, though, even though he had 7 strikeouts tonight.
Technically a quality start.
It was technically a quality start.
Which
3 home runs, but it was technically a quality start.
If you give up a homer, we always say if you're going to give up homers, just do it with no one on base.
Right.
We probably wouldn't feel negative about Taillon tonight if the offense would just scored runs, right?
Yeah.
If you
give up 3 runs, you probably should still win the game.
Yeah, exactly.
The magic number has always been 4.
Right. So all I know is it was better than the last start. He gave up 4 homers with guys on base, and the Mets are a better team than the Marlins. So I think there's definitely still some form of a concern there. But I also ploy, is that the right word? I don't know. I ask, is he not living up to expectations? To me, even these 2 starts, you're seeing what we basically have seen a lot. Against the Mets, home runs were hit against him from lefties. That's something that I feel like we've seen his entire tenure with the Cubs. Fastball velocity up a little bit this year, which I thought was intriguing at the beginning of the year. Maybe he's definitely regressing back to the mean of what we've seen over these last handful of outings. What will he be going forward? All I know is that if the guy gives you 5-6 innings and you get Shota back and hopefully Cade Horton sticks and Ben Brown continues to take steps forward and you go trade for a starter before the trade deadline, Jameson Taillon is your 4 or 5 starter, somewhere in that range, and that's fine. But I understand we need him to be. I feel like some fans are asking or hoping that he can be kind of like what he was in the month of April now, but we just know that that's just not gonna happen, you know? So just sucks that he had a quality start and lost.
Yeah, like I just want to clarify too. I sounded pretty negative about him because I think the trend looking down right now with the hard contact, that's what I'm saying is
I hear you.
Those could be doubles. There could have been men on base. Those could have been
real bad. Yeah,
right. He didn't pitch bad tonight overall. It's just the trend of the hard hits are what concerns me right now and getting too much of the zone because, yeah, he had 9 swing and miss tonight. He had 7 strikeouts. He didn't walk anybody. Those are all great. But the hard contact is something that he can't afford to live with. That's not that he will get himself into a lot of hot water doing that.
But we've seen guys we've seen other guys give up hard contact and still have good starts. And they get away with it. You know why? Because the offense scored more than one freaking run.
Yep.
So
100%.
I hear you. We'll monitor it. I look forward to, in 5 days where we can talk about Jameson Taillon again, Kevin. And I'm telling you, if the Cubs only score 1 run in that start too, and he gives up 3 solo homers again, I'll sit here and say the exact same thing again. Score runs!
I will say this much. I don't believe he's available or somebody they're even looking to trade. But Weather's outing tonight is one that I will store in my database in my foggy, cobwebby head. And I will say, whenever I'm thinking about, hey, what pitchers should they go after that might be available on a team that's not very good? I don't know that he's available or they'd even consider trading him, but that outing was pretty impressive. Even with the Cubs doing their part in it, he still looked good.
You mentioned our good pal. He's never came on the show, and that's well, maybe he has with Corey and Brennan way before we actually existed. But Matt Clapp, didn't he tweet that? You mentioned that.
Yeah,
and you said you were thinking the same thing.
I've never met Matt Clapp. I've always appreciated.
He wants Weathers.
He tweeted that he wanted Weathers.
I've always appreciated following him because I think he's a very insightful Cubs fan that really knows his stuff. I'm going to pat myself on the back. I also think I know my stuff because I was saying we communicate telepathically. He tweets things out that I'm thinking before I see his tweets, and that was one of them tonight. I was watching Weathers. I'm like, 25-year-old kid, 3 years arbitration. My Jed Hoyer bulb went off because that's called balling on a budget. That's called winning on the low end, going out and acquiring a pitcher with 3 years control.
That's how you trigger PTSD, Kevin.
Well, that's going out and getting a guy who can throw 100 miles an hour, a lefty starter. You're going to be without Steele until probably early June next year. I don't know. It makes a lot of sense, but are the Marlins going to make this guy available? I don't know. Top 10 draft pick a few years ago. I don't know.
Everything you just said, in terms of, you're probably not going to have to give up the house for him, the farm for him, right? Last year, in 16 starts, 3.63 earned run average. That's 86 and 2/3 innings, 80 strikeouts. First star of the year was tonight. So he's had injury problems in the past. He was once one of the Padres' top prospects. That's the only reason I remembered who he was. So I do think that there is some upside there if the Marlins actually were interested in moving him.
They're going to be trying to sell everybody, so I think that's
what I'm saying.
Yeah, but they had some bullpen guys tonight that were pretty good
I don't think it's like you're trading for it's not like you'd be trading for some guy like
Dylan Cease.
Right.
They're not trading him. They're going to be in it.
On one end, it's not like trading for Dylan Cease, who's been a Cy Young candidate, but it's also not like trading for Brad Keller before we've seen what we've seen and hope that the pitch lab just works its magic wand and turns him into some stud reliever, you know? I do think that there's actual upside with a guy like Ryan Weathers with a high pedigree. He just needs to be healthy and in the right situation. So,
by the way, if you didn't catch the end of last night's post-game show or podcast, Jared Willis came on and said he asked Michael Busch about the fact that he was taking grounders at third, and he just said, no, I do that every day. I just like to see the ball from a different angle. It keeps me sharp. It's like I do that all the time, so it's nothing. And then tonight, Craig Counsell was asked about it, like because he was over at second also taking ground balls. And Counsell said, if he were to be a guy that we had to, in an emergency, move to another position, it would be second base, not third base. But that, again, would have to have multiple guys be injured before we would have to do something that drastic. So don't expect to see Michael Busch playing anything but first, where he has become a very good defensive first baseman.
Yeah.
They're not moving him. He's not your answer at third base. You hope your answer for third base is in Iowa. You hope.
Yeah, you hope, yeah.
Yeah, and it seems like it is. Just got to be patient. Just got to be patient. And that is interesting, though. That is interesting. I've heard, I thought Cade Horton said something similar along those lines of when he was talking to Zach Zaidman on the pregame show before he came in on his first appearance. He said, my goal this year was to become a better athlete. I don't want to just be a pitcher. You know, he was a football player in college. They showed all those graphics. But he talked about all the time about how in baseball it's important to kind of practice multiple positions because it keeps you sharp. So it's interesting that Busch has the similar, look at that because, you want to be more than just a one-dimensional first baseman, I guess. And if the injuries do stack up, the Cubs have 4 third basemen on the roster. I'd hope he'd be playing second base.
Well, my point is, don't expect to see him playing third base or second base against the White Sox. He will be at first base. We're hoping for a sweep. We're hoping for good weather. We're hoping you're going to join us for the Friday 120 Club. Again, get your tickets on Game Time. Meet at Murphy's before the game.
Yep. And
then the decision will be made, the big decision. Left field or right field? My Thai guy's probably saving seats in left field. Will, he turn on you if you don't sit in left field?
No, he won't turn on
Will he
me.
be disappointed?
No.
Will he mock you if
No,
you don't
he won't.
sit in left field? Would he be willing to shift for right field just to sit with the group?
I doubt it.
I doubt my Thai guy would do that.
I doubt it.
But I don't think it's a bad idea to get Tucker going that way.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Every time he looks up into those beautiful bleachers with the ivy now in full bloom against the White Sox and the vibes of the whole city watching, he sees Cody like the woman in the white dress in The Natural holding the sign, extend Kyle Tucker. And then when his eyes glance over to the left, there's Braggs with the sign, please.
Yes.
I like the idea of adding a please sign for every home run he hits, too.
Yeah.
I think every game, every Friday 120 Club, another please.
I was also going to say, too, I'll be at the game on Saturday, sitting in 232. Come say hi if you want to. I know you'll be at the game Friday and Saturday, too. So.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
Cody's got a birthday this weekend.
Yeah. Friday is my last day of being 33. My favorite
God,
part
it's
of
your
the last.
birthday this Friday?
My birthday's on Saturday.
Cody's going to be John Lester.
Never mind.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Walter Payton.
I'm gonna enter my John Lester.
Jeez, you're gonna be older than
somebody
Jameson
bring
Taillon.
Cody cupcakes or cookies, or someone bring something for Cody on Friday though. If you're
Friday
true,
120
if,
Club.
if
Celebrate
you're
the
true
last day of
diehard,
being
You know what I would
33.
bring?
do right donuts.
Some of that cool reality spray. If
Or
it's
the
going to be
reality
hot, a little
spray.
water, just a little mist. Cool
If
you off
I see you in the
every
park, I'll buy you a beer. I'll see you in the park
Okay.
on Saturday.
Well,
One beer.
yeah.
That's like $30
once in a
million.
while. I mean, that's a
Since I won't
college loan
I
payment.
won't be on Sunday show either because I took the day off. But
Now you're here with me, right?
I'll be here with you.
Because you'll be hungover.
that and girlfriend kind of bullied me into taking the day off.
Oh, we don't appreciate bullying on this show.
But
You're gonna have a good time.
I'm asking for 2 of 3 at least, for perhaps a sweep, and to just I need the offense to look competent. If you don't look competent offensively, you're probably not going to sweep the series. I just need the offense to look competent, score runs. Thank you. Anyway,
and exciting news as we leave the show for tonight. Barb has just declared I can make him some turkey meatballs. And if that doesn't say happy birthday and good luck for year number 34.
I love this chat.
Cubs
with
lose
a
3.
side of Taco Bell. Okay, go ahead.
She only feeds them to the dog next door and for Cody's birthday. Cubs lose 3-1. Thanks for checking out the CHGO Cubs podcast presented by Toyota and Bet365 right here on the CHGO Cubs YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe, tell somebody about it, and like it.
Please.
Corey and Brennan with the podcast tomorrow. Until then, thanks for watching and listening, and fly the W.
We all silly like the mayor.